Fun fight here. Alexander the Great Hernandez taking on Thiago Moises. Alexander Hernandez has been an interesting cat in the UFC so far. I'll be honest. He came in guns blazing with a parlay ruining explosion in the first few seconds when he absolutely slept Beneil Dariush as a huge dog early on a card. We were there and just brutal. Such a way to make an entrance into the UFC. And immediately after that, he goes out and beats Olivier Aubin Mercier, who ended up leaving the organization sort of on a sour run, but it was a pretty nice win for Hernandez at the time. But then, as we've seen happen with guys before, he started sniffing his own farts, maybe a little bit too much.
It's just another day, and to me, standing across from Cowboy, I'm looking through the fighter, I'm looking at the man, and I think the persona and everything's just a big distraction. I just see myself facing an insecure little lad swinging on a saddle with a pop gun and a feather in his hat.
That was right before Cowboy Cerrone put on a beautiful levels test. He put him out, no questions asked, and I think it sort of brought Alexander a little bit back down to earth, and it had to have stung for him in the moment, but I think it could have just been something that had to happen in order for Alexander Hernandez to really vault himself into that next tier of seriousness, of competitiveness in the highest level organization in the world. He, after that, rebounded against Francisco Trinaldo in what was definitely a controversial decision. I know a lot of people thought Trinaldo should have won that one. And then after that, he was KO'd by Dober. But the most recent version that we got was when he absolutely brutalized Chris Gritzmacher in the first round, not even close. And that fight, we sort of saw like the old spark of Alexander Hernandez that we first saw in his debut against Benny. So he's matched up against Thiago Moises in this one, who does ride a two-fight win streak himself, wins over Michael Johnson and Bobby Green, two UFC vets in two close fights. And the Michael Johnson fight, Moises was losing early and then just rebounded with a slick, sneaky submission in the second round. He's a legit black belt, always a threat with the jiu-jitsu, and he then managed to decision mean Bobby Green in a super close fight after that. So he does have losses to Damir Ismagulov and Beneil Dariush, who, as mentioned, was smashed by Hernandez, their only common opponent. So who are you going with in this light meat matchup? You got Hernandez or Moises?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the great, Alexander. I think he's gonna be the bigger, stronger fighter. He did come off that nice win recently, and I think that's the momentum he really needed to, get back on his groove to be a top prospect. Because he's still very young. He's 28. He's had little hiccups here and there, but he's still a top prospect, and he's still learning a lot. So I could see him really evolving, becoming a really high level. Lightweight in that division. And I mean, Thiago Moses, he's been looking good too, but I think the power of Hernandez is going to be too much in the speed. And I mean, if it goes to the ground, that'll be interesting. But I still think I'm going to take Hernandez purely because of the size difference. And I honestly see him actually getting a KO or TKO finish for this one.
Yeah, Hernandez is going to have a slight reach advantage in there, but you're right. He's just, way more chiseled, just way more of a physical specimen than Moises for sure. And like you, I anticipate Alexander Hernandez having just a major strength advantage in there against Moises. Moises, surprisingly, is a young cat too, though. He's only 25 years old, and I think he has a lot of room for growth in the UFC, but I just wonder if his striking is going to be a little bit too rudimentary against a guy like Hernandez because although Moises does possess that gnarly jiu-jitsu game, the fight will stand on the feet, and I like Hernandez to manage to maintain distance and find a way to really demonstrate his superior stand-up against Moises. So if we look over at Tapology, 70% is going with Hernandez. Majority of it is beige, but there is a decent maybe 30% sliver who's going with the KO TKO. So I'm with you on that. I think Hernandez is going to find a way to get another finish, just like he did against Grits. If I were to play this fight, I would be inspecting those KO TKO numbers, see if you can get any juicy value there. But nonetheless, even minus 195 for the great isn't all that bad. So we're both going with Alexander Hernandez in this one. Check out the other vids, boys.